Winner of one of the races of round 7 in St. Croix, Quebec, Alex Tanker starts on pole here in Twin Motegi. I believe that's his second pole of the year. He also started on pole in the race he won in St. Croix, as Gerald Reddington, the points leader, starts on his outside. But Reddington, not with a very good start, gets immediately passed by Allen and London. Andreas Allen with a dive into the third and fourth corners, much tighter than the first and second, kind of similar to Darlington this layout, though much flatter and much wider. Andreas Allen will come down to the start-finish line to lead lap number 1. Just 2 laps in, and Alex Tanker already pushed back to 8th in the number 15 car. James Silverfox looking to go underneath him, but here comes Mark Nutt, making it 3 wide along the inside through turns 1, as Luke Walker suddenly had to check up to avoid getting into the back of Gerald Reddington, I believe, there. And man, did he stack up that little group for just a second. He will come out of that in about 10th. Julian Sanchez held second for a little while until Cameron Gaddu got around her inside, and Gerald Reddington now currently passing the 58 for third down into turn number 1, with perhaps Rusty Babinski following him through, as Sanchez's car does not appear to work very well on the outside. And once you get stuck up there, there's not a whole lot you can do, as currently she is being freight trained. Jacob Young and Amin Al Ghul battling for position just behind Bill Littlejohn, as Alex Tanker sticks his nose in there, going for about 20th right now after starting on pole just a few short laps ago. But Jacob Young will manage to hold both of them off on the outside. Impressive job by the Ontario veteran. Reddington to the lead as we enter lap 7 here. He's gotten by Andreas Allen, who set a pretty quick pace in the opening laps, but appears to not quite have enough to hold off the rest of the field for now, as Sanchez tries to go around the inside of the 39 to 39 with a bit of a comeback here on the outside, right up against the wall there, as Luke Walker tries to bump the 58 through the 38, challenges the 100, and they're 3 wide for third, as Andreas Allen will be able to hold them both off as he goes back to third position. Sanchez along the inside of the 112. Great racing here in the opening quarter. Mike Doan and J.R. Fitzpatrick are not used to being this far back in the field, but so far today, both of them have not shown any speed whatsoever, as they're sitting outside the top 25. Tyler Thaber currently driving by the 85. Damir Bejyanov not having a very good day either in the 13. Marcus Stroman back here along with Sean Morrison, James O'Shea, and Annie Thomas. The 58 drove by the 112, led a lap, and now here comes Andreas Allen back along the inside of the 58 car. Andreas not willing to sit behind the other drivers for any period of time whatsoever, despite it being so early in the race, as Andreas struggling a little bit on the inside to hold off the 58. The outside line does appear to work as long as you've got a car that works up there. Not a very good start to the day for Velvet Works Racing, as Carl Endumian sits around dead last. Ophelia Endumian trying to get by. Kim Markell gets into her quarter panel and into the wall. Go the both of them, the 02 with heavy damage, and the 2 sent back across the track into the 66. The 102 gets a piece. Sean Morrison and Damir Bejyanov, the other cars involved there. On the way back to the flag, Julian Sanchez again battling with Andreas Allen for the lead position. Luke Walker's cracked the podium here, as Rusty Babinski makes it 3 wide for that second position. Makes it, backs off behind Walker for now. Walker into second position, as Andreas loses a bunch of spots here in the last lap of green flag racing before the 4-lap caution period, as Rusty Babinski may get third here. Sanchez leads at the caution. Sanchez returns the field to a green flag condition here on lap number 15. Kim Markell, the only car to go out of the race from that incident, although a bunch of cars at the tail end of the field have significant damage and will most likely be off the pace the rest of the race, including Damir Bejyanov and Ophelia Endumian. Sanchez and Allen continue to appear to be the class of the field early on here as Bill Littlejohn closes in on those top two up into third position. After starting around midfield, I believe, Rusty Babinski continues to be in the top 5 as the 41 gets into the 30 there, down into turn number 1. That was very close to what could have been a much worse accident down there in the middle of the corner, as Gerald Reddington still maintains top 5 spot. Jacob Young trying to make his way past Sam Curtis currently. The 41 gives the 39 some drafting help, and a big dive into turn 3 gives Andreas Allen back the lead. On board the Russian driver, Ilya Bondarenko. He has 4 wins to his name in his long career in the HARC Pro Series, going past Richard Trelinsky and Bill Littlejohn. He's in the top 10, looking for 8th, currently sitting behind Sam Curtis. He'd love to get a win today here in Twin Ring Motegi, and about as close as he will ever likely get to a home race. A new contender challenging for the lead, Rusty Babinski in the 41 car. Drives by the 39, perhaps the 39 just so strong on the outside though, surprisingly, as Jacob Young's cracked the podium now. Reddington still looking to have yet another great run in the 112, sitting in 4th currently. Young may have pushed the 41 past the 39, but he is certainly not willing to just sit behind him for a bunch of laps, as he immediately goes after the lead himself, and will get that very quickly. Gerald Reddington back in the top 3 now, going for 2nd, perhaps even the lead on the 22, as he had a sudden surge of momentum out of turn number 2. Alex Tanker, followed by the group behind him, continue to be making no progress towards the front. In fact, quite the opposite, as they're probably about half a second off the pace for whatever reason. Tanker had a great qualifying run, but just hasn't panned out to his favor in the race, as Zachary Fitzwater, like always, trying his best to get into the top 20, to no avail. That team just can't catch a break this season. Haven't talked about the cars in this little gaggle too much so far in the race. Kerry Davis has made his way up into the top 12, trying to get by Julian Sanchez and Chris Louvier to perhaps have a chance at the top 10. Mike Doan struggling his way towards Gerald Reddington, trying not to lose any more points to him in the championship race. Ali Nelson having a solid run. Not exactly going to be going for the podium, it doesn't look like, for the driver of that Discover Alaska car, but still a respectable run. James Silverfox sitting here in the 27, along with Pichu London and Daniel Voiles. Andreas Allen, still one of the fastest cars on track in the 39 car, goes by the 22 to retake the lead for about the 4th time of this race. Allen, though, just isn't consistent enough, it appears, in the 39 cars. Jacob Young, once again, goes by to retake the lead. Bill Littlejohn in the 30, sitting in 3rd, currently Rusty Babinski 4th. Cameron Gaddu and Sam Curtis. In fact, Sam Morrow sitting just behind him in 7th, it appears. It's the Sam and Sam show back here, trying to get into the top 5. Rusty Babinski and Cameron Gaddu go for 2nd position here, as Andreas Allen peeks his nose underneath the 24 to get the lead. Both the 41 and the 24 were very strong at the previous 1.5 mile track, kind of like this on the schedule. That was Homestead Miami back in round 1, but both of them had strong runs early on there. But in the late stages of this one, they both appear to have cars that could challenge for the win, as the 41 goes by the 22 to take the lead. It appears Twin Ring Motegi has been a bit of a struggle as far as consistency for these drivers, as Young and Andreas Allen back into 1st and 2nd. Babinski just not able to keep up those lap times. It's hard to just put down consistent laps in time trials, let alone in a race, when you've got nearly 40 laps on those tires, as Jacob Young, Andreas Allen and Rusty Babinski, a nose to tail with around 5 to go here. Jacob Young has closed in on the rear of Ophelia Andumian and Demir Bejin off a pair of cars that are about a 1.5 seconds a lap off the pace of that is being set by the leaders here, even with their inconsistency. Jacob Young quickly gets by the 2. The 13 might be a bit more of a challenge. Here's the 41, looks low and sweeps by the 22 as Jacob Young can't find a way around the 13 in time. Babinski into the lead, Allen through to second, Littlejohn perhaps into third, Louvier into fourth in the 98. Bit of a surprise there, haven't seen him too much so far today. Babinski holding the lead in the 41, but look at the run that the 30 got down into turn number 3 as we come towards 3 laps to go here in race number 1. Bill Littlejohn may be able to lead the lap. No, he won't. Rusty Babinski will get that lap led. Don't think Babinski can get the most laps led bonus at this point. That's either going to go to Young or Allen, but Bill Littlejohn definitely going for the win. What a day it would be for that team if he could get the victory here in one of the biggest races of the season. Littlejohn still alongside the 41. The 41 may be able to get that position back as Sam Curtis gets into Andreas Allen. And Allen into the wall, it appears. The caution's out with just 2 laps to go. We're gonna end up having to go to a green-white checkered. Sam Curtis's car just appeared to get a little bit tight, and Andreas did not go up all the way towards the wall. Once they made contact, they just couldn't get off of one another, and Allen sent into the wall. Unfortunate for him, he's going to be at the tail end of the field around 25th position at the start of this green-white checker. Babinski and Littlejohn will make up the interesting front row here with just 2 laps to go. Neither of these cars were some of the ones that we expected would be up in the top few at the end of the race. Young and Andreas Allen aren't really in the picture right now, as Littlejohn immediately gets shuffled back to 4th. Not a very good start for him as the 98 along the inside of Rusty Babinski with some help from Sanchez as the 98 tries to squeeze the 41 up the track. Nearly into the wall there. Actually, it's now the 58 on the back bumper. The 98 getting into him a little bit there as the 98 spins up the track. Babinski and the rest of the field has to check up, and it's Sam Curtis who somehow got the lead in all of that. 4 wide through turn number 4. They somehow made that stick as Sanchez and Babinski rub each other, nearly getting into the wall there. I believe Babinski did actually touch the wall as Young and Sanchez go after second. Ali Nelson somehow into 4th in the 9 car as Bill Littlejohn and the rest of the field battle for the top 5. Currently, Pichu London up into the mix. Here comes James Silverfox with the final charge as Young and Sanchez continue racing side by side off the corner. It's a really hard battle for second, but in all of that, it will be Sam Curtis getting the victory here in race number 1. What a remarkable last lap turn of events there. Sanchez and Young fought to the nail for that second position. Sanchez will end up getting that in the 58 car. Jacob Young a very close 3rd. Given a few more laps, he could have absolutely raced his way to the front and challenged Sam Curtis. No doubt about that. I think after his dominant performance earlier on in the race. Ali Nelson with a 4th place finish after struggling to get into the top 10 the whole race. Bill Littlejohn will finish 5th, rounding out the top 5 there. Pichu London, 6th position in the 007. The 98 of Chris Louvier, after somehow saving that car in turn number 3 and 4, coming towards the white flag, will get 7th. James Silverfox, 8th in the 27. Rusty Babinski started on pole for this green-white checkered, ends up 9th. And it will be Cameron Gaddu rounding out the top 10.